Happy Black History Month.
All right.
All right, so if you missed our last video, I'm going to link it here, up here in the cards. And we talked about books for... April. That's right.
That's right.
And today we're going to be talking about shows that you should be watching with your little ones during Black History Month. All of the cartoons that we are going to be talking about are led by either Black or Afro-Latino voices. So they will be really good programs for your children to watch. And these are just some of the ones that we think would be really, really good. So let us know in the comments if you have any other recommendations. But all of these are typically for children who are 7 and younger. There are a couple that I do recommend that you'll wait until they're a little older to watch, but we'll go over all that in this video. All right, our son has left the building, but first show we're going to be talking about is Gabby's Dollhouse. Gabby is a mixed race girl, and it's her and her cat. And pretty much you will find this show on Netflix. So make sure you go to Netflix, type in Gabby's Dollhouse, and you will find the show. Gabby is a mixed race girl. It's her and her cat, and pretty much what she will do is it's like a live action animation.
Yes.
So when she is like discovering the mission of the day, her and her cat will transform into an animation, and it's pretty much her and her dollhouse friends going through doing a bunch of different discovery of things, and then after they're done, she goes back to being a human again, and then she recaps the episode.
Yes.
What I like about it is the episodes are I will say for all the shows, the episodes are under like 30 minutes, which is really good. The same thing with Gabby's Dollhouse. But I like that it's a mixture between animation and live action. You never know like exactly when she's going to transform and go into the animation, so it helps keep your child's attention longer.
Yes.
And I like the fact also too that she has an animal with her, because I think it's always cool when kids have animals. Like we have a dog, so I just think it's cool to see shows where there's like a kid and their animal. And Gabby is cool.
Yes, I'll agree with everything April said. I do like the fact that, especially when there's different activities or things that she wants to get into, and she puts on her kitten ears and then she transforms and then she goes into her little house. But it has a learning aspect to it that's really nice. And like April said too, because she transitions from a small animation back to a live person, it definitely keeps their attention, but it also helps build imagination as to what you can transform and get into. So I like it.
So the next show that we're going to talk about is Karma's World. If you kind of know a premise about Karma, is from Ludacris's daughter's actual name, and so it follows around Karma, and just like she's like a middle schooler, she has a little brother, she's in a house with her mom and dad, and she's just going around just going through everything that adolescent girls go through. The song is kind of rhythmic, so she raps, and it's just really cool to kind of incorporate culture into it. I like the fact that the main girl Karma has curly hair. I think that's really important. Her brother and her parents have curly hair as well, and they're all different shades of black. And it's like the fact that they've incorporated music into it because it's based on Ludacris and his daughter.
I like it because, like I was telling April, once watching the show, you saw how creative she was. I mean, as a freestyle, even though she's a little girl, it just amazes you what children can come up with and be able to just speak to the world. So it also goes back to, like I said, imagination and, you know, different wordplay for children and stuff. So I like it. And like April says, you see different shades of African Americans and, you know, her family, and just following her at that small age is really good. So that's my feedback from it.
Yes, this is also on Netflix as well. We'll be doing a mixture of different platforms, but this is on Netflix as well. And the next one that we're going to be talking about is Motown Magic. I really, really love the concept of this show. There's 2 seasons of it, and so long story short, they will pick a song that was a part of the Motown Empire. So like heard it through the grapevine, so they'll take that that song and make an episode about it. And of course, they'll sing like the first, I would say, verse and maybe the hook of it. And the episodes are really short. I think there's 2 episodes within a 30-minute period, but it's just a boy and his family, again, showing Black representation, and they're just singing all the hits from the Motown era.
So for us being millennials, I think that's cool because there's certain songs that I know that I heard and from the Motown show, and it was just like, oh wow, okay, they put a spin on it and livened it up for the younger generation so that they can understand that music will never, go away. It'll just be rebranded and put out there so that it stays relevant. And like April said, one of the episodes they heard it through the grapevine, which was a Marvin Gaye track, and it was awesome, and especially because it had a message into it. Like, just because you hear something doesn't mean it's always going to be correct or it's the right information. So that's why I was like, heard it through a grapevine was really cool. And then like they also had a little bit of the Jacksons in there and stuff as well. So if, for the parents and stuff like that, definitely the millennials, and I would say what, Generation X?
Yes, X.
Yeah.
X-millennials.
X-millennials and maybe no, that's too.
Or older Gen Z.
Yeah,
but
older
mainly
Gen Z.
it's from Boomer down.
Yes.
Should be familiar with all the songs.
Yes, exactly. So that's definitely something to definitely check out.
If your children love just singing like Noah does, like it's on 2 seasons, and I think there's like 10 episodes each. Same thing with Karma's World. They're like on several seasons. So if you like having like a musical flair to your child's cartoon, definitely check both of those out. They are on Netflix. The next show that we're going to be talking about is Proud Family.
Yes.
Louder and better than ever. If you saw the original Proud Family was kind of Pratt and them, this is the older version. So of course it follows Penny around and her escapades with her friends and her family. The episodes are about 30 minutes. I would say this is like a true like animated series. Kyla Pratt and everybody reprised their roles. They're on 2 seasons of this as well. This is on Disney Plus. So if you don't have a Disney Plus subscription, you should definitely get it. The show is still funny like it was in the first iteration when we were all younger. So I'm sure all the millennials know about Proud Family. And I just like the fact again that it just shows Penny and her friends, and they're just going through the trials and tribulations. Now they're like preteen teenagers, and they're still getting into shenanigans like they were back in the day.
It was interesting because watching Proud Family, I said to April, I was like, some of those characters look like something we watched when we were really, really, really young. And it was a movie called, what was it called? Bebe's Kid. It has a different atmosphere to it. I like it, just from watching a couple episodes that I did. And, it's definitely something to check out and whatnot. And like April said too, having the actors and actresses being able to come back and reprise the role and stuff like that was really awesome. So I like it. It's definitely a good thing to check out.
Yeah, so if you like the first iteration of Proud Family, like most of us millennials, you'll like this version. And we all know that Beyonce and them did the theme song for this one. They picked another girl, but it sounds very similar. So you'll still get similar feels from the louder for this version than the first version. Disney Plus stuff. Next is Doc McStuffin. This show does not come on anymore, but it did come on Disney Junior. And of course, it's about a little biracial girl, and she was like she was the doctor to all the animals. And what I liked about the show is that it showed a Black girl who would just be doctors to all the animals. They would come to her with all their needs. And because it was a mixed race family, you did get a chance. I think in a couple episodes you saw her dad, but you would mainly see her mom, and just the dynamic of a little Black girl being a doctor. It's just really positive to also show like range of characters. It's not always like music related. It could be something positive like a doctor in this particular instance. So that's what I really like about it. Yeah, I think the show stopped producing new episodes in 2020, but if you do get a chance to watch it, Disney Junior, it is a really, really, really good show. I personally liked it. Noah did see a couple of episodes and he would say like, what's that? So it's definitely a good show if you want to show like your child a different range of like different type of occupations occupations that they could one day get into, and it's not always like stereotypical music based. You know what I'm saying? The next show that we're going to be talking about is Eureka, and this is on Disney Plus. So Eureka is a little black girl in the pre-Stone Age with her and her mama and her daddy, and she's like an inventor. And I'll let Ruben give a great analogy of what he told me that Eureka reminds him of, but it's just really cute. The episodes are about 15 minutes long, so it's 2 and a 30-minute period. And I like that the episodes move really quick. It's Eureka. She's thinking about something. She's always problem solving, and it shows you in real time like how she works through things, how she has her friends work through things, how she goes through different emotions. It's just a really cute show that's really positive to show innovation in black children.
It's interesting because I was watching and I was like, wow, it reminds me of a young Tony Stark. And somebody's gonna be like, what? Well, she every time there was a problem, she always was thinking of a solution. And on one hand, she was trying to adopt a Willie Mammoth. And her parents are like, well, how are we going to get him in a house? And she came up with a solution. So she's always thinking of different ways and different ideas. And I was just like, well, how's it relatable to me? And I was like, well, Tony Stark and Iron Man, that was the same way. He was like the smartest man ever. So just to think like in a Stone Age or pre-dawn Stone Age time, this young lady is able to figure out how to problem solve, and that those solutions are able to help not just herself and her family, but others. So that's really, really great, especially for young people to see that, you know, you can get into a situation or there could be a problem that arises and you're able to develop a solution to that problem so that everything comes out, you know, good and whatnot. So I definitely would recommend it for young little people to see that, you know, your imagination will lead you to anything, and the ability to problem solve is just awesome.
Yeah, and I will say that amongst her friend groups, like the two other like main characters, they will always come to her for like solutions. So it's really nice to see that she, in her friend group, they like lean on her to like solve the big problems. Yeah, and I kind of like that. I like to see that. Rise Up.
Yes. Rise Up is interesting.
Rise Up, Sing Out. This is also on Disney Plus.
I liked it because it was fast, very quick. The episode was like 3 minutes long. Good, but it's because the music was so good. And basically, I was just like, you know what? Let me watch another episode. And when you saw like the people singing and stuff like that, which was from the group of the Roots, you see the artists and stuff like that. So it's really, really cool, and I definitely would recommend, you know, take a look at it. Even though the episodes are short, they're very informative with those small episodes.
Yeah, and what I will say is that some of them tackle like microaggressions, like you touch my hair, don't do that. Like I don't like you that you did that, or like my name, for example, because sometimes when you have more non-American names, sometimes people can find it hard to pronounce them appropriately. Tackles different racial issues. It has like inclusive messaging for all communities. So if you haven't checked it out, Disney Plus, Rise Up, Sing Out.
Rise up.
All right, and then the last show that we're going to be talking about is My Dad, the Bounty Hunter. It literally just came out and I binge watched all 10 episodes. So I can definitely tell you firsthand about the show. It's really cool. It's about Terry. He is a dad and he's co-parenting with his wife. They're not divorced from what I got. I just think that because there's just issues because of his occupation, but they still love each other. They're working through it. Anywho, Terry is the bounty hunter and his children, a daughter and a son, come with him and they go on all these crazy adventures, and at the end of the season, grandma comes and everybody's just all hunky-dory. Okay, I like it because I would say the first 4 episodes I got a little concerned because it started off a little slow, but it did pick up pace from like I would say the middle of episode 4 through 10. So if you're looking at it and you're like, watch the entire thing because afterwards I literally just binge watched all the episodes. They're about 30 minutes apiece. And what I do like about it is that it shows a healthy family dynamic between a father and his children. Yes, there are going to always be issues, especially if there's a co-parenting situation where one parent is more dominant in the household than the other. But Terry realizes that through talking to his children, getting to know them a little bit more, that he can have a great relationship with them and also have a great just job overall. I will say there is a section in the show where there's like, now this is a spoiler alert if you haven't seen it, but there's alleged like a scene where Terry like died, and so when Noah was watching it, he became very aware, and that made me aware that he was aware of the concept of death. And so we actually had to watch the next episode because I kept telling Noah like he's fine, he's not gonna die, but Noah had to see for himself that Terry, the main character, was fine, and then after that he was good to go. But it's really, really good. They have a really good cast. It's just a really great messaging. The kids, the dad, the mom, the grandma. I love grandma. So if you haven't checked it out, it is on Netflix. It just got released. It's a great show to add to your Black History Month lineup.
So I saw bits and pieces of it at first. I did watch one of the episodes, and for me, what I was taken by it was that it was a slow paced, meaning that the plot and the story was a little slow paced for me, but maybe for a child it might be different. But as time went on, as April was able to binge watch it, I couldn't get too deep into it. However, she did tell me that it started to pick back up for us as the adults, and like she said that the message and the concept of everything was there. It was like, you know, Noah was like...
And mind you, our son is 3 and it does say Y7. So if you do have children under 7 watch, just be kind of mindful that there is a little bit of violence and there is an alleged death. But Noah was still able to watch it and not get too upset. But just be mindful that when they have the Y7 rating, it's a Y7 rating.
Yes. So, but overall, April said that the show was definitely good, and I trust her on that, especially since she binge watched it and stuff. So, you know, for me, I'm gonna definitely take a look at all the episodes and then, you know, just go from there and then gauge and make my own opinion of it. But from what I saw before the first episode and a few of the others, it is a good show. So I would definitely recommend it. But like April said, because of the Y7 and the, you know, the little bit of violence and that scene in there, I would just be very mindful if you have young children. And I would either do it as a parent, I would skim it or watch it yourself first to see if your child will be able to handle something like that, and then, you know, watch it with them, and then if they have any questions and stuff like that, be able to help them out and answer them. So
yes, and then the only other show or honorable mention is Gracie's Corner. Now, she's not really a show, and most of her YouTube channel is just her like remixing all the classics. But if you haven't support that princess, make sure you go to her YouTube channel, Gracie's Corner, and support her and her daddy and her mama, because she got all the hits over there, okay?
And they're doing great work too.
They're doing great work. So if you haven't, I'm sure you've heard of Gracie's Corner, but I had to put that out there that you need to go support that girl and her family for Black History Month. Okay.
There you go.
As I mentioned, I will link the first video that we did up here about the books for Black boys during Black History Month by Black authors that you should definitely check out. Bye. Thank you so much for watching. I will list that playlist here so that you can watch the previous video in this series. Bye.
Bye.
Happy Black History Month.
Happy Black History Month.